Hello, my friends. I have a joint-based yoga class for you today. This is meant to get blood flowing and get some energy moving and loosen up and lubricate all of our joints. You will see that the scenery today has changed. There used to be a beautiful mandala that I bought down in Yahats that, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know Mama spilled some wine and it went onto the sheet and it's on our wall and it's like a whole thing. So it's downstairs with some stain treatment on it. So hopefully it'll be back up with us again tomorrow. But enjoy the nice white walls that will bounce the sunlight off of them for you. One thing that you may need for your practice today is either a yoga block. If we were in the studio, that's what I would be using. I have 3 books that I'll be using today. 3 Jane Austen novels. Thank you, Jane Austen. I hate standing on books. I think it's like it's almost like you're, you know, saying bad things about them or like not respecting them. But you gotta do what you gotta do. If you have anything else, a stool, like a tiny little stool, that's great. But I've been around my house once or twice. I can't think of nothing else. So, books it is. At least it's not the Bible. So join me on your mat. Let's loosen up that body. Okay guys, so we are going to start with our toes. I just want you to bend your knee, press the weight down through your toes, and then release the weight. And you can head to the other foot. If you'd like, you can turn this into prances. So heading up and down through your releve, up and down. If not, you just drop one heel and lift, because those prances, right off the bat here, they do start to ask that balance to come into consideration. We're gonna come to the first foot. I'm gonna have you roll up and over your toes and then back again. So I did it from the side so you can see it up and over your toes and then back. Up and over. And then back, and you're just trying to get as much flexibility, not only through your toes and your knuckles there, but like the sole of your foot. And the last one. And release, and then we'll head to the other side. So stamp that toe down and head up and over. Stamp and up and over. As we head into our balance stuff today, please feel free if you need a chair next to you or a wall. I love working out in my home. You can always modify anything that you need. Never feel like anyone's looking at you or judging what you're doing. It's a very free, safe space. And then we're gonna head into our ankle rolls. So you'll go around and then the other way. And then switch your feet up and around. And switch directions. Take your feet about hip distance apart or even a little bit wider, and you're just gonna take hip circles. I like to think that there's a bowl around my waist and I'm trying to hit each side of that bowl so that I'm not giving in one direction or going further on the other. And then you're going to reverse this direction of your circles. And then a little bit of a hip press. You're gonna pick one side, you're gonna press your hip. You can make them small, you can make them big, however it feels good to you. If you are a person who hyperextends your knees, I would focus a lot during this workout on keeping them gently bent, your kneecaps lifted so your quads are engaged, and then the other side, a little press and press. So pulling up through your core. And then hands on knees to begin with, and we're going to be taking our knees in towards one another and then away from one another. For some reason, when you put your hands on your knees, it helps your knees figure out what they're doing. So big circles, and then the other direction, out, around, and in. Also notice the movement in your ankle joint, in those hip joints, everything getting loosened up here. And then step your feet together, squeeze those knees together, and you're gonna take the knees in one direction. And the other direction. Feeling kind of warm, standing up, finding your balance. First foot lifts, and you take some ankle rolls here. And then the other direction. And then hip circles up and around. Other direction, up and around. Relax it down, other side. Finding your balance first, and then circle that ankle. Nice big circles. And other direction. Hip circles. And the other direction. And relax it down. This is where you will be coming to stand on something. Doesn't have to be too high. This is actually slightly higher than I would want for myself. Whatever you're standing on, for me, my toes fall off the edge of this, so make sure your heel is firmly planted. That's what matters. So don't let your heel fall off the back of whatever you're standing on. Always the toes fall off if need be. Once you find yourself up, we're gonna be doing our hip dips. Gentle bend in that standing leg, and you're gonna let that bottom foot head down and then re-square the hips. So almost feel like you're jutting one hip out to the side and then lifting it back up again. What I don't want is just a lateral step up. So if you bring your hands on your hips and you're feeling like, I'm just bending and straightening that leg, but my hips aren't moving, I want you to actually feel like one hip bone ends up higher than the other. It's kind of tiring. We're asking a lot of our stabilizers, our glute med, to really kick in here. It's like a bigger version of our hip presses when we're standing. And then you're gonna find your balance, and you can come off whatever you're standing on. Let's just call it our block. You can come off your block for this if you need, but we're just doing our leg swings. The reason I like to stand on something for these leg swings is a lot of times that foot hits the ground, and here you can really let her swing. And then we'll switch her to the other side. Finding a nice steady and sturdy position, and then you can drop and lift. Checking in, making sure you're actually dropping one side of your pelvis down. The other side juts out, and then you gotta pick her back up again. Then I'm gonna reset myself up because I was feeling a little lopsided there, and head into your swings, forward and back. Nice, loose, heavy leg. Not tight, forward and back. Let her go. And you can come on off. I'm gonna be moving these to the side. This next move is a figure 8 with your knee, or in dance we always joke, we do these out into some batmas, and we call them chili willies. If you get it, you get it. But it's a cross and an up, and it's like a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So it's like an infinity sign with your knee. Hopefully those hips are getting warm. Warmth equals blood. Blood carries nutrients. Get it in there. And then switch other side. Chilly willy. What's funny is it's used in dance studios where there's, you learn it when you're 7, 8 years old. You don't know what it means, but you have your dance teachers using that as a term. And then all of a sudden you're old and you're like, wait, that's like super inappropriate. It's funny, I wonder, Brianna, what do you call these? I would love to know with your kids, let me know. So, we're heading into our goddess position. This is external rotation of those hips, and we're gonna move through it here. So as you drop yourself down into your goddess, rotate your pinkies forward, and then as you come out of your goddess, I want you to scoop and reach the palms up into the sky, so like the back of the hands are gonna come down to the ground. So you have rotation of the shoulders, pinkies in, down and around, palms up. Pinkies in, palms up. So this is working hips, knees, ankles now. Everything's flexing and extending. And then you're also starting to get that upper body. Shoulders, the scapula is rotating on the back of your body. Shoulder blades, for those of you who are still getting used to those anatomical terms. And then you'll also start to feel this in your wrists, especially when you take those palms up. If you think fingertips go a little bit further, maybe getting a stretch in the forearms. A lot of computer time, phone time the last few weeks. And then on this last one, you're gonna hold down. Bring your hands to your hips. Now, very carefully and safely, just start to take your knee in and out, side to side. So it's not a big move, it's a little tiny move. But the weight starts to come to the inside of the foot and then out. Inside of the foot and out. So, we hate this move, right? Collapses on the inside of the knee. This is how an ACL gets torn. When you're training the body, you need to train your body how to come out of improper movements. So go into improper and come on out. Improper, right? We have to learn how to fall. I had a whole class of that in college where I had an improv teacher, Kirsty Simpson, who spent a whole semester teaching us how to fall and not get injured. And I think Wanda does that in her sail classes too. You gotta train that body to know how to pull itself out safely. Last one. Hopefully they're warm and you can kind of feel the muscles that do that external rotation for you. We're going to be coming into a malasana. Malasanas can be very uncomfortable for a lot of people, so doing the modification that you need. Heels come in a little bit closer, about right underneath your hips, and then you take yourself down. I'm going to bring my hands to my knees, make sure that my knees are staying open, going down nice and low. From here, you might bring your hands to the ground and kind of give yourself a little sway from side to side. Lift the toes, lift the heels. I'm getting a few cracks here. Until you get comfortable. We are looking for heels down, knees open. That's the ideal. Taking a moment. Maybe you have your books, your block here for support. We're gonna be doing that same knee in, knee out thing. Now this might be small for you. If you have been working on your mobility, you might be able to actually drop your knee down, and you'll notice the weight goes all the way over to the other leg, and then you drop down on the other side and open. Down and open. Down. Safely, slowly until your body gets used to this. You'll see I've done this a lot, so I can pop right into it. Let's do one more each side. From here, I'm going to come to seated, come to the ground, however you'd like. Legs will come out in front of you, and we're going to take just side to side sways, really trying to get that knee down and that full internal rotation. Seeing where you feel this, or if you don't feel it at all. I feel it on one side, for example, and down in that connection site in that sits bone. And then that side, nada, feels great. And a little pull here. So this might be you. If you'd like a little extra challenge, 90-90. So this is a 90-degree position, 90-degree angle here. Hands at heart, up and over. So you have to pull up through the pelvic floor, pull up through your core. And then butterfly. Soles of the feet will come together. If you've noticed today, we're moving. So we're not going to come into any held postures. So you come into your butterfly, you're going to flutter. Knees go up and down, sitting up nice and tall. Take some big deep breaths here. If you need to sit on your block or a pillow, you can do that. Allow the legs to come to stillness. Twist over one knee. I like to use that back hand to really make sure that I'm sitting up nice and tall, and flutter. Relax. Hands over to the other side, sitting up nice and tall, and float. Straddle position, legs will open out to the side, and sway from side to side here. And as you sway, I want you to try to lift your hip up off the ground. So I really want you to sway, feel the sits bone come up and off the ground, and then settle back down again. And then we'll come to center, remove any flesh out from underneath those sits bones. Give your legs little stamps, stamp, 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 stamp. So bending the knees, pulling them up and away from the ground, and then letting them relax again. Come to the breath. Warms things up really quickly. Let everything kind of be floppy down by the feet and the ankles. Let them relax. The blood's flowing, you almost feel it tingling through your legs. We'll walk the hands forward and then walk them back again. So if you are a person who that's as far as you can go with flat back, you might be able to get a few more of these in, trying to get a little bit further each time you walk your hands forward and back. If you're a person who can lay all the way down, you might go a little bit slower. You got to take more steps out and then take them in. Just 30 seconds here. I want you to keep moving. We're training the body, the hips, to be elastic. So kind of like a rubber band, to be able to react, to be pliable. And then we're gonna start, you're gonna take yourself out to your level. I'm gonna talk to you, so I'm gonna stay up. I'm not down to my full level here. And we're gonna walk our hands over to right in front of one leg. Make sure that we're not rounded. Still feel like you're reaching away. And then walk your hands back to center. And then over to the other leg. "30 seconds. Your timing, your tempo, just keep the breath deep. We're going to be finishing it up, so make sure that you're even, both sides. Come back to center after you finish your last side. You get to hold 3 deep breaths. And then coming on up. We'll be pulling those knees in. Just a comfortable seated position, and you're going to be holding on to one thigh here. And we're going to be taking some more knee circles. So you're trying to stabilize the thigh so that you're really circling from the knee joint down. I can see it's coming from my femur, so I'll make my circles a little bit smaller and slower until I gain control. There we go. And then the other direction. My knees feeling warm, that's good. Let's do the other side. Anything you want to do with this leg, it can come out, it can come in. You'll be holding onto the thigh however you'd like. And then you're going to circle. Here comes the sun, da-da-da-da. Other direction of your circle. Very limited mobility for me in this knee. From side to side, the other one was this one is like, does the knee move like that? Yes, your sibling does. Okay, coming back to the first side, this is what we call rock the baby. You can either hold onto the foot and the knee, or you start to move that foot up as close as you can get it to that elbow. And then hands can either come to the thigh or you can wrap it all the way around. And you rock the baby, side to side. Still want to sit up nice and tall. And then we'll loosen the grip a little bit. And then taking circles. I like to think of this like the railroad, the trains. Chugga, 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 chugga. And then reverse the circle, going backwards. Really pulling the knee back towards the armpit, back towards that shoulder. We're going to straighten the bottom leg. Bring that leg up and onto the thigh, and as close as you can get it up into that hip joint. So it's like a half lotus here. So nice tight angle of that knee, taking it to where you can go, and then just tiny ups and downs here. Getting used to having that pressure down in the hip, down in the quad too, is also something to get used to. If you are a normal, regular yoga practitioner and you've tried to learn crow before, you know that it's when you have to put your knees into your triceps, into those armpits. And at first you're like, why is no one else screaming in pain? And then after you practice it, you realize the body starts to numb itself. Go ahead and just release that leg. And you don't feel it as much anymore. And then release. It's the same thing with shoulder stands. Rock the baby on the other leg, either holding on to the foot and the knee, rocking here, or if you can get it up into that elbow and hold, or even take those hands out in front. With shoulder stand, you know, you've got that C7 vertebrae that's kind of got like a, do I want to call it a nodule? But you know, it sticks out. And when I went to the ashram the first time to get certified, you're there for a month and you're practicing the physical practice of yoga for 4 to 6 hours, sometimes, 8 hours a day. And you do the same class in Shivananda over and over and over again. It's the same postures on repeat and very little modifications or alternatives. You just do the postures, you hold them for an extended period of time, 30 seconds to 3 minutes is the standard. And then we're gonna take our train, so big rolls. And so I had the biggest bruise on that bone. Oh, I was like, this is never gonna go away, it's never gonna stop. And then the body got used to it. Riding a bike, oh my gosh, those cycle classes, how they hurt the first few times and then goes away. It's amazing how we adapt so quickly. Reverse your train tracks, up, back, and around. Getting a lot of clicks in this knee. My immobile knee. Okay guys, half lotus. You can extend that bottom leg. Tuck it up as close as you can into that hip joint. Little tiny rocks up and down. And then you can let it be heavy. Maybe it'll go all the way down to the ground. And release. Coming up and into our tabletop. We're going to be nice wide fingers, taking circles with our torso. So getting into those wrists, up and around. Reverse the direction of your circle. forget about your core. Keep her engaged. Flip one hand over, top of the hand into the mat. Take yourself back into a stretch. And then flip it over. So now it's the heel of the hand reaching away, fingertips towards the knee, and take her back into a stretch. We'll swap. So place that one hand down. You'll flip the other hand up and over, back of the hand into the mat, fingertips towards the knee. Take yourself back. And then flip the hand, heel of the hand reaches away, palm down in the mat, fingertips towards your knee, and you lean back. And then we'll sit back on our knees. Any comfortable seated position will do. Interlace your fingers and take some wrist rolls. Other direction. Some fingertip stuff. So I actually want you to take your hand onto the fingers, straighten out that arm, but get those fingertips up like it's going to touch your forearm. And then we'll swap. Heel of the hand reaches away. Take those fingers, pull them up and back. And release. Hands come onto the shoulders. Take big full circles. Up and around. And then up and around. Other direction. Arms come out to the side. We'll start with little circles. I'm going to move up so that little circles, and they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then let's do it again. Little circles that get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then other direction, so small circles. And then get those circles bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And little circles. And then make them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. One hand down, reach up and over. Up and over to the other side. And then up and over. And up and over. Neck rolls, down and around. Taking one more. And reversing directions. Down and around. Always end in center, chin to chest. Then roll up. We'll come down onto the ground. Lowering yourself down, taking your arms out into a T position, feet hip distance apart. Go ahead, take your knees over to one side and look towards your hands. Deep breath. Up and over to the other side. center. We're going to be bringing our hands down, and you can extend your legs up into the sky. And you're going to be taking circles of the ankles. Other direction. Give your legs a shake. And then lower them down. Allow them to lengthen. Arms out at a 45-degree angle. Bring the shoulder blades together, allowing the back to lie flat on the mat. Closing the eyes. Coming into the breath. Coming into the weight of the body. Imagine that there are roots attached to the back of your body, to the back of your heels and your calves and your thighs, to the back of your pelvis, all the way up your spine, the parts of your arms that are touching the ground and the back of your head. These roots anchor you down, deep down into the earth. The body is feeling heavy, weighted, and supported in this position. Everything touching air, everything on the top of the body just melts like warm butter, dripping and softening away from the center line of the body, pulling into the mat and into the earth below you. Start to deepen the breath. Full inhales. Complete exhales. Our breath is our prana, our life force. It brings energy once again into the body. Big full inhale. And complete exhale. You may rock, roll, stretch. Rolling onto your right side and coming up. Any comfortable seated position will do. We'll seal this practice, this time together, by taking 3 full deep breaths. On your inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, pull them down into your heart center. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, pull through center. On this last one, we reach out and up. Gain all and everything that you need. Positive light and energy. Pull it down and in, bowing the head. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you feel a little bit Gumbier, a little bit more like Gumby. And I hope I see everyone very soon. This lighting, what are you gonna do? Goodbye, good night, good day.